So, good morning, distinguished colleagues, dear guests. It's a great pleasure to welcome you to the Swiss Polar Day here in Zurich. In my role as Vice President for Research, I'm not director at ETH Zurich. The Swiss Polar Day has become really a unique platform. It brings together scientists across disciplines, policymakers and partners to exchange ideas, build collaborations and showcase the impressive breadth of polar and high-altitude research in Switzerland. At ETH Zurich, environmental sciences are really a cornerstone of our research strategy. They bring together expertise from across our departments, from earth sciences to biology, from engineering to social sciences, and they align closely with one of our institutional priorities, which is becoming a living lab for sustainability, circularity, and climate solutions. Key topics of environmental sciences at ETH embrace a broad scope, understanding life on Earth, its origins, prevalence, and interactions with the environment, which is essential for addressing the most pressing questions and challenges that humanity and our planet faces today and will encounter in the future. This includes the responsible use of both biotic and abiotic resources, based on fundamental understanding of operating biological, physical, chemical, atmospheric, and geological processes. Addressing these challenges of our planet also calls for expanding our perspective beyond Earth, deepening our understanding of planetary systems, and exploring the broader universe to gain insights that can guide our understanding and shaping of Earth. Today, I would like to briefly highlight 4 examples of ETH research that illustrate how we contribute to understanding our rapidly changing planet in close partnership with the Swiss Polar Institute. Let me start with a striking example of how ETH's research makes climate change tangible, not only through data, but also through direct human experience. At the Venice Architecture Biennale, ETH researchers created an installation where visitors could physically feel the effect of rising temperatures, a sensory reminder of the cost of our comfort. The scientific work shows that human-induced warming amplified the devastating European drought from 2022, underscoring the urgency of preparing for more frequent and severe climate extremes. If we shift from Europe to the far south, another ETH-led research project reveals the hidden forces beneath Antarctica's vast ice sheaths. For the first time, researchers drilled through 500 meters of ice to directly observe subglacial rivers flowing into the ocean. These hidden watercourses accelerate ice shelf melting and help us better predict future sea level rise, one of the defining global challenges of our century. ETH Zurich and the Swiss Polar Institute. Well, ETH is a founding member of the Swiss Polar Institute. It has been involved in the past and present SPI flagship expeditions, and since 2018, 37 funded projects with a total of more than 800,000 Swiss francs were granted. Coming to my third flagship project, equally urgent are the changes happening in Greenland's fjords, where warming oceans and melting glaciers affect both ecosystems and local livelihoods. The Green Fjord flagship project studies these changes at the intersection of cryosphere, land, ocean, atmosphere, and society. ETH teams lead key clusters on biodiversity and land systems, helping to understand not only environmental shifts, but also their socio-cultural impacts in one of the world's most vulnerable regions. Finally, let me take you from the poles to the third pole, the high mountains of Asia, where ETH's researchers contribute to the SPI flagship project Pamir. This interdisciplinary effort examines glaciers, permafrost, hazards, and ecosystems in one of the planet's most important water towers, which sustains millions of people's lives downstream. By combining ice core records, hydrology, and microbial ecology, the project builds the knowledge needed to safeguard future water security in its critical region. Together, these projects illustrate how ETH Zurich, in close partnership with the Swiss Polar Institute, contributes to understanding interconnected climate challenges, from Europe to Antarctica, from Greenland to the high mountains in Asia. I'm convinced that such knowledge, grounded in excellent science and strong collaboration, is essential for tackling the global transformations ahead. I wish you all an inspiring Swiss Polar Day, rich in exchange, new ideas, and the strengthening of your community. Thank you very much.
So welcome also from me on behalf of the Swiss Polar Institute. You see on the program, the second welcome is by the co-chairs of the Swiss Polar Institute. And this is Björn Dahlbeck and myself. And since I have a very loud voice, especially in the morning, I got the job to wake you up, while Björn, with his larger wisdom, will do the conclusions at the end of the day. So, how do I do the slides? Oh, here, okay. Just a welcome from me and a little bit a history and memorizing why we are sitting here today and what the cause is of our gathering. The Swiss Polar Day is actually already quite old, and it has been initially an initiative of APEX. These are the early career scientists in polar research. And it was their own initiative to start the first one, which was much smaller than this one. And only when the SPI really gained momentum, it took over with the organization. And I see so many early career scientists this morning, and I'm very glad about this because this means that this Swiss Polar Day has really worked. I looked for a picture of our last Swiss Polar Day in Fribourg, and unfortunately we forgot to do a group picture last year. So we cannot do this this year. We really have to find the time to do this. So I had to do with the picture here of the Swiss Polar Day in Sion 2 years ago. And if you look around, you can see that we are actually growing. And I think this is also a sign of the success, that this has become really the annual event for all polar researchers in Switzerland to come together, to exchange, to see new results and exciting opportunities. If you want to know more about the Swiss Polar Institute, if you're not completely aware what we're all doing, there are lots of different funding instruments that help to support your research. And I would advise you to go to the webpage where there's also a database which you can explore of all the projects that are running or have been running in the past. And you can see since 2016, when the Swiss Polar Institute was founded, so we are already approaching the 10-year anniversary next year, so you should mark that in your calendar. There have been more than 190 projects by 13 Swiss institutions funded. You can see the majority is in the Arctic, but there's also about equal share between Antarctic and high-altitude projects. We just heard from the previous speaker, there's also 2 flagship projects which are really synergetic activities where different researchers from different institutions come together to get a comprehensive picture about a certain problem that is tackled in these flagships. I said we are 10 years old nearly, and we just started our second funding period as an Article 15 institution. This sounds very technical. Essentially means that 50% of the funding comes from the federal government. And this means that we have been recognized as an institute of national importance. But we just started this second funding cycle, but we're already looking ahead what is coming after this. And so 2 days ago, we organized a workshop at the University of Bern, which had the target to test the pulse of the community, whether this will be in the future the right time to start a Swiss Antarctic research program. And the idea is now, after this workshop, to write a white paper to make a case that this is actually the right time, and there's also the need for it. And I would invite all of you who may have not been on this workshop, if you have time today and you have any idea or any comment on this, just find us during the coffee break and chat to Björn, me, Danielle, or any other person that is on the staff or has been on this workshop if you happen to know. Okay, so with this, I actually would like to already close here my little welcome. I hope you will enjoy this day as much as I will. And as Danielle already pointed out, use the time of coffee to chat with others, to collaborate, to start new initiatives. And if you have new ideas what the SPI could do or should do, then let us know. Thank you very much.